All right, before I move on to the next item.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I have a few things I'd like to talk about before we go any further. It's obvious I've had some comments in the last couple of meetings. I also understand that there was a letter that was sent by, I believe, Mr. Esposito, that was to the letters of the editor, I believe, at the Londonderry Times, which is fine. There was some disparaging remarks, and I'm going to make some clarification to that. What some people don't see, the emails that come back to us. I know we're elected officials, I can take some heat, but when someone starts to attack you, there comes a limit on when you have to stop. And I've been very quiet about this. And I want to read you so people's eyes open up to what we're experiencing, or I'm experiencing. I won't talk about anyone else. But an email to me from Mr. Esposito. Now, once again, Mr. Esposito and everyone in this room has a right to 91A. That's a right. And I respect that. But then again, where does it go askew? When does it become abusive? All right? Here's an email after one of my comments from Mr. Esposito, who's in the crowd tonight. It says, and this had to do with corruption and other things that people have accused the board and members of. This is what we hear. And if you think that I'm going to sit, I can take a lot of stuff, don't get me wrong, guys. I have people that I disagree with, and we're friends. I don't have a problem with that. But when you constantly get badgered, and I haven't said anything, or other councils haven't said anything, there comes a time when you just have to let it up. Quote unquote, don't you worry your little head about it, sir. There is plenty of it, and while we can play word games and hide behind decorum at the town hall meetings, the devil is in the details. Why do you think I have appointed myself as citizen auditor? So Mr. Esposito has appointed himself citizen's auditor. So let everyone understand that. So I guess he's representing the citizens of Londonderry. He's not representing me, but that's okay. Why do you think I'm asking so many questions about who authorized past expenses? It is not enough to avoid overt bad faith actions. As someone who used to advise clinicians on the ethicity of their decisions, let me tell you, one must avoid even the appearance thereunto of poor ethical conduct, something that most recent sessions of the council has not done, which that can be debated. This pressure on the council over bad faith decisions isn't going away. Okay. There is a shadow over the town council, one that hopefully some new blood will serve to dispel. Regardless of the outcome of the election, there will be a new level of scrutiny and new era of accountability. This is the final statement. And you will have the benevolent hand of Jonathan Esposito to guide you along the way. So these are the kind of emails that we get constantly. And by the way, Mr. Esposito, you can get this on 91A, but you wrote it so you have a copy of it. Here's another one. No, Mr. Chairman.
Out of order.
Mr. Chairman, there we go.
You are out of order, sir.
Here's another one from Mr. Esposito. Mr. Green, which it wasn't Mr. Green, it should have been Mr. Butler, but okay, I get that. Doubling down on your rudeness tonight and the council chair not addressing it, yet again, shameful behavior from this council. He is an out-of-control animal with the way he addresses citizens. Okay? Let me explain something to you, Mr. Esposito. I have lived in this town 36 years. I have a lot of friends in this town that would not categorize me as an animal. Okay? But please, citizens, understand what we're receiving, what we get badgered with. Interesting watching Mike Malaguti stumble through the presentation on Mac's lease. Judging from public comment, you people have been making backroom deals again. Mr. Esposito, and let's everyone hear it, there was no back deals with this, okay? The owner of Mac's Apples, the new Mac's Apples, never came to the town. We had to ask him, and he came to us to introduce himself. Now, when this came out, I can tell you right now, I went to different people and said, hey, look, you're in the apple business. Why don't you put in for it? Okay? So, did I go out? Absolutely. In trying to make sure that we get the best deal that we possibly can for land that you guys own. Yeah. Did I ask Dan Hicks? Absolutely. This was years ago. Did I ask Shady Hill? Absolutely. You know why? Those people have been in town for a long time, and I know what they can do. Well, it just goes to show you that Dan Hicks and Shady Hill, they didn't put in for that. They did not put in for it. Now, when Mr. Malaguti said that he had a new agreement, I didn't even know Dan Hicks was involved in it. So, you know, when you start to think that there's backroom deals, there aren't backroom deals. But you keep going that way. Right? You keep going that way. Here's another one. This was addressed to Councilor, Chairman of the Council. Every councilor, including the town manager, is paying attention to his fee presentation for the fire department, except Chairman Farrell, who's kicked back in his chair on his cell phone for minutes at a time. Did you ever ask what he was doing? Do you know what he was doing? He was paying attention.
Again, out of order.
That's the reason.
2 warnings. There won't be a third.
He was paying attention to the time that everyone had a reason to get up and talk about, the time frame. So when you sit there and disparage him, you're wrong about it, Mr. Esposito. You're totally wrong about it. Okay, now we talk about ethics. Now we're going to talk about ethics. We're going to talk about ethics? You're an ethic guy. Before David Steinhauer passed away, and God bless him, he sent a letter to the chairman, John Farrell. Do you know what that letter stated? I'm going to tell you what it states, and think about it. The Londonderry Lions board members met on Monday, September 19th, 2022, and voted unanimously to terminate your Lion membership effective immediately. Yeah. This action was taken due to numerous violations of the International Lions Club Code of Ethics. I don't know if many people know this, but might as well get it out. Your assertion, I do not feel that Londonderry, New Hampshire Lions Club is a good place to belong or to volunteers. They've been in this town for how long? They have sold Christmas trees. They've done a real good work for people in this town. But here we have the disparaging remarks. Slandering and defaming the character of our fellow members. Okay. Violating the approved motion to keep Londonderry Lions Club personal information off all forms of social media. Publicizing personal club business. Not uniting members, instead creating division and dissension among club members. The board exercised its authority to take this action as prescribed in the club bylaws. Forfeiture of membership. You are not to attend any Lions meetings. Attaches your check in the amount of $53 for a refund of annual dues. So, the Lions Club. The Lions Club. Really? Now, for the people that think I'm a vicious animal, which of course was supported by the editor of the Londonderry Times, because they put yeah, I know you did.
Again.
Okay, here we go. There are some people that said, geez, Jim, you're doing a good job. So let me read you something on the good side, okay? Mr. Butler, thank you for standing up to that group of miserable rabble-rouser that show up at almost every meeting to complain about trivial matters. I watch most meetings and I find them ridiculous and childish. Thank you for not apologizing when no apologize is due. Keep up the good work. I will vote for you again. So, Mr. Esposito, you're not the only guy in town, and whatever your group is. And by the way, are you the chairman of the Londonderry Republican Party?
Point of order.
This is not
No
public
point
comment.
about it. Well, I already know. I already know the answer. You are.
Please, no
And I
questions
will
to the audience.
publicly tell people
Please, no
he
questions
does
to the
not
audience.
represent me, and I'm a
No
Republican.
questions to the audience.
Okay? All right. Here's another one from Mr. Esposito. Thank you for your non-apology. I believe citizens Tara Miles, who I vehemently disagree with on many political positions, that's okay, recently addressed a session of the town council and called for more kindness all around. I can see that request fell on deaf ears. It goes both ways, Mr. Esposito. It goes both ways, okay? As benefiting your unapologetic arrogance. I'm sure that if you talk to people, like I said, I've been in town 36 years or whatever, I'm sure that there are a lot of people in this town, and not a small group, that think I'm a nice guy, okay? I can't wait to receive my 91A with emails that you sent to your private distribution list. This, I guess, has something to do with Chairman Farrell. With the intent to bully me as a citizen and falsely malign the Londonderry Republican Committee. I will look forward to putting up his sick and tired of hearing from citizens signs next to all your signs next election, should you choose to run. I will personally pay for them out of my pocket. Well, I hope... That's classy. That's a good way of handling things. Now, the group. I mentioned a small group. Well, I know a few of them. I have an email from Jonathan Esposito dated March 9th. March 9th, Deb Paul was still a town council. What's that? And this was to Deb Paul, who owns the newspaper, and she was town council. Glenn Douglas, who's here tonight. Christine Hughes, which I have now realized that Christine Hughes is Christine Perez, so people know. So those are the three people that are on this list. What's that song from the Whispering back in the day? Question mark. And the beat goes on. Ba-da-bum-bum-bum. I will let you know how fruitful my just asking is as soon as I get a response. No. Now, we've had a riff. Deb Paul. She was a town councilor. I have letters here, if anyone wants to read them, from a reporter that she hired. You should read it. Okay? So when I get a little aggravated, I think I have every right to. I will sit down and talk to anyone in this room. But to malign, to sit there and you're an agitator, and to sit there and disparage me is absolutely wrong. And now, if you continue to do it, which is your right, I will continue to let people, the town of Londonderry, not a small group, know what's going on. If you wanted to see the books, hey, the treasurer position's coming up. Why don't you get there? Why don't you run for that? Then you'll get everything you need. I think some of the 91As, quite frankly.
Is that a question for
Again, there are no questions to the.
The 91As, I always ask myself, and everyone has every right, including my wife, to 91As. You absolutely do. But every time I see 91A, I come in, I say, where's the connection? What's this about? In my opinion, some of your 91As is just frivolous. I can't make heads or tails of it. You have every right, no problem. But you also, and the citizens of Londonderry have to understand that that's at a cost. He's concerned, I guess I had an email and I asked Mike about how much does it cost on our emails for 91A with Mr. Esposito. Last time I checked, and I don't know if it's been brought up to date, over $10,000, $11,000. And I think it's way above that now. Wow, those $10,000 and $11,000 could get us another,
No point of order.
could get us another
Point of order is denied.
position at the town hall, the police department, the fire department. So I encourage people, if you want the 91A, there are no secrets here. If you think there's a secret, do me a favor. Why don't you write the Attorney General's office and the FBI and tell them we have a problem here and let them come in? Why don't you do that, Mr.? You know, you don't have the guts to do it, because you know why?
Jim.
Come on, Jim.
Okay, all
Point of
right.
order.
Jim.
All right, Ron, believe me, you're new. So anyway, okay, you want me?
Every
oh,
counselor has-
Hey,
you have
I'll
the
tell
same
you
right.
what.
Give
You
him
want me
his
to
time.
apologize for that statement? I will apologize. How's that? Not bad, huh? So anyway, Mr. Chairman, I've said what I needed to say. And unfortunately, the people of Londonderry need to know the other side. And if this is what I have to do, that's what I will do before we start business. Thank you, sir.
Okay, so I'm gonna move on to new business.